Tonight, Washington, D.C. launches a bold new strategy to fight crime cash for tips. Attorney General Pam Bondi announced that citizens can now earn $500 for information leading to arrests. The U.S. Marshals Service hopes this incentive will turn residents into active partners in restoring safety. This program is part of a sweeping federal crackdown, following a surge in crime and a controversial federal takeover of the D.C. police. The Cash for Tips initiative aims to break down barriers between law enforcement and the community, encouraging people to come forward. Federal officials say traditional methods have failed, and this direct approach is needed for real results. The White House frames this as a necessary intervention after local leadership lost control. The program's success will be measured not just by tips, but by a sustained drop in crime. By offering financial rewards, the administration is using tactics once reserved for fugitives to target everyday street crime. The stakes are high, the city's safety, and the future of local control hang in the balance. Residents now face a choice: stay silent or help shape the future of their neighborhoods. The federal government is betting that money talks, and that it can buy a safer capital. The coming weeks will reveal if this gamble pays off. The crackdown began with President Trump's unprecedented order federal control of D.C.'s police. Citing rising crime and failed local policies, the White House argued it had to step in to restore order. This move brought a flood of federal agents and resources, instantly changing the city's policing landscape. The operation was designed as a show of force, targeting high-crime areas and sending a message that a new authority was in charge. The takeover also reflected deep policy clashes. Federal officials blamed D.C.'s progressive reforms for the crisis. For the administration, this was about more than crime stats. It was a rejection of the city's political direction. The result, a fundamental clash between federal power and local self-rule, with public safety and democracy at stake. The city's future would now be shaped by this high-stakes experiment in federal intervention. The stage was set for a dramatic confrontation over who controls the Capitol. The federal operation delivered immediate results: over 550 arrests and 76 illegal firearms seized in just weeks. Authorities focused on violent crime, property offenses, and immigration violations, concentrating efforts in the hardest-hit neighborhoods. On a single night, 52 arrests included a suspected MS-13 gang member, underscoring the crackdown's intensity. A major shift: D.C. police now cooperate fully with ICE, ending the city's sanctuary status and fueling a surge in immigration-related arrests. Supporters point to dramatic drops in crime: carjackings down 83%, robberies down 46%, and violent crime down 22%. The D.C. Police Union credits the federal presence, calling for repeal of local reforms they say hampered effective policing. Critics, however, warn that aggressive tactics and immigration sweeps could erode trust and make communities less safe in the long run. The administration insists the numbers prove their approach works. The city is now a testing ground for a new model of federal law enforcement. The question: can these gains last? Or will the costs outweigh the benefits? The operation's impact is undeniable, but so is the controversy it has sparked. The debate over policing in D.C. is far from over. The next phase will determine whether this crackdown is a turning point or a temporary fix. The federal crackdown has split Washington, D.C. in two. Supporters, led by the D.C. Police Union and many residents, praise the sharp drop in crime and the sense of restored order. They argue the federal government did what local leaders could not, finally making the city safer. For these residents, the debate isn't political, it's about survival and peace of mind. On the other side, city officials and activists call the intervention a dangerous overreach. Mayor Muriel Bowser and Attorney General Brian Schwab warn it undermines democracy and erodes trust. Critics fear aggressive tactics and immigration arrests will drive a wedge between police and the community. They argue real safety comes from local accountability, not outside force. The city's identity, capital of the nation or self-governing community, is now at the heart of the conflict. Both sides agree, the stakes have never been higher. The outcome will shape not just public safety but the future of local democracy in D.C. The city waits, divided and uncertain. As the crackdown continues, D.C. stands at a crossroads. Supporters tout falling crime and federal resolve. Critics warn of lost trust and damaged democracy. The city's future hinges on whether these gains can outlast federal involvement, or if old problems will return. The debate is about more than crime. It's about who controls the capital and what kind of city DC will become. The Cash for Tips program is just the latest flashpoint in a battle over power, safety, and identity. The answers will shape Washington for years to come. For now, the city remains caught between order and autonomy, its fate still undecided. The nation's capital is watching, and waiting for what comes next.